as shitty as the start of my career was, I still wanted to do the job and prove myself that, look, all right, I'll get through this year as a last chance agreement. That was stressful.
This is gonna hurt. It's time for the Suffering Podcast.
I later learned that this particular crew jammed up 6 other officers in surrounding towns, and I was going to get indicted, for...
So you only worked 4 hours, but got paid for 8.
Yeah, I worked less than 4, and I'll never forget my lawyer being like, what if he took an 8? Because essentially my thinking at the time was, I'm going home for lunch. That's it. I'm out. Like, I'll never forget him saying, fucking, you want 4, 6, or 8? Listen, pal, this is your job here. Like, I agreed to 8. He put 6. All right, there's a red flag. All right, this is an 8-hour. You're out the door. The AG was actually, keeping an eye on this shit for good reason.
The next town over just got all jammed up.
There's a town in Essex County that was notorious for, they would show up on a job. Hey, sign my paper. And then, gone.
Well, let's go. Yeah, they had this case, and I admit to it. It's 100% wrong, and I'll never forget. I was an easy witness. I cooperated with it, and I'll never forget the union president being like, "Look, you're gonna get 90 days, and you're gonna keep your job." And I'm like, "That's incredible." This is going back. This was 2019. This is when everything started, and so I was like, "I can accept that. Keep my job. All right, cool." You know what? They tried to make it out, falsifying public documents, all this bullshit. And mind you, if I had done that, if I had fucking signed off, give me 4, we'll make this an 8 or a 6, throw me in fucking jail. Like, I'll accept that. There was none of that. It was a misjudgment. I was wrong. Cooperated 100%. And
so you got the 90 days.
That's what I thought I was getting, but then the city came back and said, no, we want to terminate you. And in the discovery, I later found this out that, to read a letter from the chief to corporate counsel or the lawyers in City Hall that described my conduct as criminal in nature. And that, because he went to them with 90 days and the city said, no, terminate this dude. And for the chief to write, what I did was criminal in nature. Man.
It's funny you say that, because there's a guy who's a very good guy, never had anything on his jacket. He did the Verizon thing, and I'm going to tell you right now, both of you have done the same thing. You go work 3 hours, they say, here's 8, they sign you out at 8, they go sit in a parking lot, so you're part of their scam.
Yeah, exactly.
They've tightened up, obviously.
But this guy happened, the same thing happened to him.
I understand.
He went in, told the truth, said, yeah, I did it, figuring he's going to get suspended from road jobs, take a rip, whatever it was. They ended up firing him.
And I understand that. Could I survived termination 3 times.
Yeah.
As a result of that, I got to keep my job, and I was thankful, and I was happy to be back.
What was the charge? Or what, not the charge, what was the suspension finally?
I don't remember the terminology, but
no. How many days did you get?
90. I ended up fighting it. Like, after getting that letter, like termination, you're put on, modified duty,
right.
The rubber gun, whatever. But I had to sweat that out. Just sitting there in communications, like, all right, well, the hammer's gonna drop. Yeah, here I am helping out, and thankfully, I was able to keep my job. Because like you said, up until then, I cooperated with the investigation.
See, I have a problem with that. Because when a criminal comes in, we arrest somebody, and if they give us the information we're looking for, we usually go easy on them, right?
Yeah, without doubt.
With police, it's a little bit different. Like,
is it because you're held to a higher standard?
Well, no. So you've been in IAs before, where tell me what happened, and we'll go easy on you. If you don't tell us what happened, we're going to go after you. We're going to hammer you. So if you did something wrong, you owned up to it, and you took an easier rip, whatever it was. With incidents just like yours, where you cooperate, And the same one I just told you about, guy cooperated. Well, what's the value of telling the truth? I might as well fight it and do that anyway.
You know, I was grateful to come back. You know, they were willing to give me a second chance. And, you know, I requested to meet with the chief, and we had a good conversation when I came back. And, you know, I went back to work. My second incident, I mean, as part of that, you sign what it's called a last chance agreement. Meaning, my lawyer is saying it's like, if, you know, they're not going to fire if you're not wearing your hat.
Stuff like if you don't pass an inspection, they want to do a random
Basically,
inspection.
You're on probation again.
They step on your dick in order
That's
to get
it.
fired.
And-
you don't tie your shoes right. Oh, take it easy.
And I'll get some
Shove it
Hoboken
right up your
speak.
ass.
I was bumpy. Bumpy.
Could you look that one up, Mike?
Yeah, we got that.
Bop me.
We got that Hoboken dictionary back there.
You know,
Forgot about
I'm going to bring the other picture up unless you tell me what that means.
I'll tell you, it's some. So state police has the outfit, you know, sharp, dressed like
like a bumpy.
a bumpy is the
You
opposite.
can't describe a word when it's a word.
just got
A
it's like a
bumpy is
bumpy.
a bumpy is the opposite of that.
Unsquared away.
Like a phlebotomist. Bumpy. Bumpy. Like unsquared away, you know, like ate up.
You know how long it took me to figure out what comp was?
Yeah.
Short for companion.
So
Anyway,
you signed this
Or compadre.
you signed this last chance agreement.
great. I got my job back. All right. I'll
Because
take.
right now you're trying to hold on to your job with your fingertips.
Well, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's still something that, you know, is, you know, as shitty as the start of my career was, you know, I still wanted to do the job and prove myself that, look, all right, I'll get through this year as a last chance agreement. That was stressful. You know, in the academy, they call it target for dismissal. And I couldn't help but feel that way.
So how long do you stay on that last chance agreement? The remainder of your career?
Well, no. I survived it. I signed a year last chance
Okay,
agreement.
there's a term. Okay, that's what I'm wondering.
Last chance agreement. It's a year. And when I come back, I'm back on midnights. Never forget one lieutenant being like, Matt, you know, I appreciate you're really picking up your leadership. You're doing a great job. This and that. You know, that lasted for a few months. And unfortunately for me, towards the tail end of that, I got into an incident where a civilian complained about me, and rightfully so. It was a shit show of a job. She was involving two females that lived in the same building, a small building, like 2 blocks away from police headquarters. And we didn't get called to the job. I mean, this is the type of thing where it was like, all right, fire alarm is off, someone's screaming, you know, send a couple cars. And me and my partner at the time, and it was someone I went to the academy with, were like, I'm never looking at him and be like, we got to go to this. You know, like, what the, like, so we go. This emotionally disturbed female just was MFing everybody, you know, just, little did I know that she'd already played the game where she was incapacitated and taken into protective custody, which means if you're a danger to yourself or others, you go to the hospital, like, no question about it. And she had already been down that path with our department. And for whatever reason, I listened. You know, I was taught, all right, yeah, okay, yeah, you were used to domestic violence. That's why you hit the fire alarm. Okay. You know, calm her down a little bit. You know, the EMTs come. She settles down. She's played the game before. All right, I got this complaint. I'm going to try to throw something on paper for this. It's getting towards the end of my shift. But so in the building, she had an ongoing issue with another resident. This female who lived near where the fire alarm was. Apparently, they have had some history. So I go back to headquarters. Let me type up this thing for this female. You know, what the fuck just happened? You know, type of job. And I'll never forget when, you know, policing changed for the good when these cameras came out, right? And body cameras were in effect. This was probably 2020. I think it happened July of 2020. It's around that time. You know, when that policy first came out, they didn't allow patrolmen to review their footage. And to me, you know, someone that, you know, I took the police exam, like study prep exams to become a sergeant. And I'm like, that's like a trap. Like, why wouldn't they want you to have accurate reports? Like, why can't you just? And now they do. Obviously, they, you know, law is progress, and this job is continually progressing and going forward. Now you're able to review that footage.
So this whole thing was caught on video.
Yes. You know, and
So at the end of your shift, nobody gets arrested or anything like that.
Well,
you go back to
so
headquarters.
what happens is I go to take the report. The roommate comes walking to headquarters saying, "Hey, I got a nut job here, and I got to talk to someone about this female. Like, I have a history." Okay. I'm like, "Oh, she's back. Okay." And I go talk to her. She goes, "She got all her stuff. She's looking to get away from this woman, who I thought just called it a night, and that's it."
Was it a romantic relationship?
No. It's just two people in the same
roommates,
building.
okay.
No. And so maybe in the nice guy that I am, or stupidly, I say, "All right, you know what? It's right here," and I didn't call it in. I'll go walk and get your license real quick. I'm thinking this lady is knocked out, passed out, nothing to worry about. Unfortunately for me and her, the lunatic comes back out. And she, you know, was under excited delirium. She was freaking out. "I want this woman, this poor woman." She's like, "I want her arrested. You know, tell me her name, this and that." Grab some shit out of her bag. You know, I grab her, and she's holding the phone. And she goes, "I'm going to smash this phone. Like, if you don't tell me her name," all this, screaming all this nonsense. Mind you, it's like 7:30 in the morning. There's people like walking to work and shit. Like, it's like, you know, it's daylight now, and then I was worked the night before. You know, I take the cuffs out. I go, "Listen, you're getting booked if you don't give me the phone back." You know, I call another car. By the time the car comes, she snaps out of it, gives me the phone back. Walk this poor, and then the cop comes. I'll never forget. They roll up. "We good?" "Yeah, we're good. Fuck it. You know, get the fuck out of here." You know, I didn't say that, obviously, but "Yeah, we're good." Walk this woman back to headquarters. And my thinking is like, all right, I'm going to do the report based on the shit show that I'd observed overnight. She's going to come in and talk about what just occurred with me. And obviously there's things as a use of force report. IA said I wrestled with this woman, and it wasn't a wrestling match. Yeah, we got a little hands-on, got the property back, and this female obviously had a complaint against me, and rightfully so. And I ended up, long story short, you know, I witnessed the robbery, even though I returned the property. I ended up serving 180-day suspension for that, half a year. And I survived, though. I kept my job, somehow. Don't ask me how. I survived 2 last chance agreements, and I was able to come back to work.
So what was the final straw?
I got in trouble again. I came back.
Wow, I don't really feel bad anymore, man. Thanks for coming on.
So anyway, don't ask me how, but like my lawyer was sitting there, like, it was a 2-hour process of getting interrogated about this job. You know, you got to go to the videotape and watch it, like, oh shit.
After the second job, or the third time you got in trouble?
No, I'm talking about this past time with the fire alarm. This job I'm talking about, like,
Yeah.
with
What was the third one that got you in trouble?
the third one was a business owner complained that he saw someone smoking crack in front of his business, wanted this guy booked. I could smell it. Again, towards the end of my shift, I go, all right, it's this guy here, and he's kind of like walking off. He's not acting disorderly. He keeps walking, and that was it. I ended my shift. Like, all right, he's sent on way. I don't see any signs of, you know, yeah, he was a little messed up. I could have handled that job more. He ended up, turns out the guy had warrants, and he was picked up by the next shift. And, you know, that happens sometimes in law enforcement, where you deal with someone that the last shift dealt with, and you handle it. You know, this was within a couple weeks after I came back from my 180-day vacation. And I'll never forget, a guy, I get along with everybody, you know, and a guy observed it, who was walking to work. You know, the next shift books him. He was upset about something else that occurred that was going on at the department. But he went in front of the police desk and went into the arrest room. He was in headquarters doing some training. "Hey, I just saw Isler out with this guy." "Oh, a lieutenant? Huh? Someone? Huh? Who?" "Videotape." "Yep, me. Guilty as charged." Okay. So I was able to work. I mean, I knew it's funny. So both times I survived termination, I fought it. I wanted to come back. This one, I was like, I'm not going to really get the union or any type of legal representation involved. I got nothing left to fight for. It is what it is. I think coming back.
Did you get a heads up and say, "Hey, listen, this one's not really fightable"? Or
Well, no. No. I mean, I was on my second last chance agreement. I lost motivation. You know, I had a good run. You know, they interviewed me on that one, and it was interesting because the first time I got jammed up, modified duty, you're in police headquarters. Okay, take your hit, come back. When the second incident happened, you know, get the knock on the door. Oh, hey, sergeants, what's up? Hey, gotta take your gun, pal. They were very cool. Listen, you got a good attorney. You'll be all right. Thanks, dudes. and I survived that one. But this one, I was the end of my rope. You know, it's unfortunate. You know, I was very upset with that officer who's now a sergeant. And, you know, I eventually, you know, I'll never forget. And then I did the interview. I'm like, all right, well, maybe I'll get a pass again. You know, I'm like, maybe I got 9 lives. You know, we'll see. But that was strike 3 for me. You know, I worked one more overtime on New Year's Eve. And I remember it was like my 6th day in a row in, so I took a vacation day. Dead during the week shift. They call me in at 7 o'clock, 7 in the morning. Our PBA vice president's waiting there, and that's it. They're like, Matt, we're going to make an offer you can't refuse. And originally, I was like, are you kidding me? I'm like, time out. And like Mark, our president was there. I'm like, time out. I need to go and confirm this with Mark. I was obviously angry. But after talking to Mark, you know, the department didn't have to give me that offer. You know,
What they tell you, either resign or you're going to get terminated?
Yeah. And you know what? Respectfully, I did the honorable thing, like they say in the academy, and you go home. And that, you know, that was a tough pill. But, you know, I'll never forget, you know, going home that morning. And it was just like the regular routine at home. We had a baby, and I'd take my kid to daycare. And I'm like, maybe I'll just sleep and fucking just pretend to go to work the next night and like just not tell my wife. And having that conversation with her, it was difficult. And this has been over a year ago, and death to us part, because, you know, this woman was just like, she goes, I knew when they made you sign a 2-year last chance agreement, you were going to survive it. And, yeah,
It's like you're walking a plank.
I
It's just like you're just
It's-
tiptoeing to the end.
it's, you know,
well, isn't that a police career? You know, you get to a certain point in your police career, you are walking that plank.
Oh, yeah. Without a
No,
doubt.
I agree.
You know,
I mean,
and you one deviation off of that plank, you're falling in the drink.
unfortunately, you know, in the corporate world, it's called a golden parachute. And once you hit 25, you can hit that button whenever you like. I'll go back to resign. You're a good guy. You're not going to have a problem getting another job. And I went like a whole year of taking interviews.
With other police departments.
Other police departments, because like my hometown of Hasbrook Heights, I can go to any chief's town and apply. And there's a lot of people hiring now, obviously. There's a lot of turnover going on in the job, and quite frankly, they don't have the demand of applicants. And I went over about a dozen interviews. Half of them were just horrible. Now, I love the ones that start off, they're like, hey, Matt, so you got a lot of baggage. Let's talk about it.
Whoops.
And here I am, and that's the beauty of it. Here I am. Here it is.
Are you still actively looking?
After a year, I decided, you know what? I came very close, you know, to one department. The number on the application is 35. They want someone 35 or younger with less than 5 years experience.
Yeah, because they're worried about paying you too much.
Yeah.
Well, and I've already been corrupted.
I was going to say, you could mold a younger person.
and I'm okay to let someone else have a
A
chance.
grizzled vet isn't going to be molded.
Let someone else have a chance. I mean, I have technically 3 years I think, and I'm
Yeah, then you lose your PTC.
So, yeah.
yeah, but with all this new licensing and everyone's all concerned about that, and
It may be a blessing in disguise for you because that might be your path that you have to walk in order to
It's
get
fine.
to where you're supposed to be.
the chapter's closed. Like, I'm no longer actively pursuing. I went on plenty of interviews, like I said, and I realized that it's time to move on.
So we're coming to the end of this thing. Anything you want to plug? Anything you want to throw out? You want to throw out your social media? Throw out any of that
I'm
stuff?
good. Like, I just appreciate coming out here. I have nothing to promote. I just
Well, I appreciate you owning up to it and being honest with us. I
Yeah,
mean,
big
Well,
time.
you know what? He's wearing a torch run, so
Yeah, there you
let's-
go.
yeah. I
let's-
mean, I miss running this every year. I mean, the police just do a tremendous job with that organization.
that was Mike's a real big part of that.
Yeah, I'm on the torch run committee.
Yeah.
there's that.
it's a great
there's that
organization.
ultra
You know, like
effeminate video of you running down there with the torch. I remember that.
The
video.
way-
You're just jealous.
I am.
the
jealous.
way you
shorts.
see Matt today, this is how he was as an officer. He was just mellow. He was just cool, calm, very, very. You know, he was respected. You know?
It's funny that my 92-year-old grandmother told me, she's like, "Nah, you're too nice to be a police officer." I said, "No, I'm not." You gotta. There's an element to that in police work, and I'll be all right.
Well, luckily, you know what? Here's the positive side for it. You got out before the job really jaded you, because if you are, listen, I just met you tonight. So if you really are that nice of a guy, and I believe this guy with everything in my being, and if he says you're a nice guy, maybe it was for the best that you got out before this job really hardened you, because eventually that happens to every one of us.
Yeah, I mean,
Especially now, if you have a chip on your shoulder when you're working, now you can't have a chip on your shoulder.
like I said, constantly evolving, and progress takes time. I mean, you look at different laws and they evolve for a reason, so it is what it is. And, I'll say it again, like it was a great time working there. And that cop that I told you that went to the department, hey, I just saw him. I went to the Christmas party. I gave the dude a hug, saluted him on his, I congratulated him on his promotion, and that's it. It's just strictly business, and that's it. Nothing personal.
So, like I said, we're coming to the end of this thing here. You had this this career in law enforcement that got cut short. You wanted to be a cop for so long, and then you have to experience getting the job, but you also have to experience losing the job. And you've gone through an enormous amount of suffering to you and your family, but it had to teach you something. So, what do you think it taught you?
It just taught me patience and just to slow down, really care about your loved ones. I got 2 beautiful daughters at home, and I'm just truly blessed. And that's, at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Because when I was going through, all the nonsense, I was a short fuse, burning, and that's not a way to treat people. And I want to move forward, but you can't keep looking at the past. And that's the way I look at things.
You got to learn from it.
Yep, exactly.
Well, Matt, I appreciate you coming in. Mike, listen, you're always the
It was an
man.
honor. It was great.
You're always the man.
Support my fellow Hoboken guy here.
It's the most quiet he's been in the 75
he
episodes
doesn't-
he's been here.
I know it's not about me, but he doesn't have the accent. I got to start teaching him about that.
I'm surprised you didn't pick that one up. I started picking it up the other day. I was like, can I get a glass of water? Matt, thank you so much for coming
Thanks,
in.
Alan.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
it was,
Mike,
that was cool.
thank you.
And that's going to do it for this episode of the Suffering Podcast, The Suffering of Resignation with Matt Isler. And let's think about all the stuff that we learned. Discouraging attitude can change in a single moment. Hoboken people are the most genuine. Being tired can cause bad decisions. Sometimes the honorable thing really hurts, but most importantly, have patience because it's gold. And that's going to do it for this episode. Don't forget to go to popple.com, put in the code TSP20 for 20% off your digital business card. Follow us on all social media. That's Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter, Clapper,
RedTube.
RedTube, XNXX. Follow Mike at Mike_Flace. Follow me at Real Kevin Donaldson. And of course, follow the Suffering Podcast. We'll see you on the next episode.